Hey guys, time to chill out with Sub-07 and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure. Last time, Gamma finished off the rest of the E100 series, including himself, a tragic end to a tragic character. This time, we're disregarding that. It's time for Chao Garden stuff. Time to go happy-go-lucky. No more sad. Not allowed. Now, Chao Garden, for Sonic Adventure 1 specifically, on the Dreamcast, is very different from every other incarnation. As you can see, we're playing as Sonic because I actually just ran through Speed Highway again to get some extra animals. We've got a lot to cover here, though, so let's get started. First things first, what are you doing? You can't swim, get out of there. Thank you. First thing to note, Chao, as I have mentioned previously, you cannot see their stats when displayed in-game. This is only for Sonic Adventure 1 on the Dreamcast. Oh god, I gotta be careful with when I grab these things. Adventure 1 was very odd in this regard because later installments, including the remake of the game, allowed you to see your Chao stats just fine by picking them up or by putting them in a specific machine. What you wanted to do, if you wanted to actually see those stats, you had to use the Dreamcast VMU, aka the memory card, to play a built-in game called Chao Adventure. This was how you actually accessed your Chao stats, and it was the best way to actually raise your Chao. Because without it, let's just say it's a whole lot harder, and not nearly worth it. Here you go, bud. There's a lot of different mini-games you can do in order to get experience, get stat level ups for Chao, and get items in Chao Adventure. There's actually a lot to that in game mode, but it's not exactly something you can easily record because it's exclusively tied to the VMU. And it takes up a lot of space on VMU as well. It's like over 30 blocks, which this game's Chao Garden alone is less blocks, which is kind of wild. Now you'll notice, every time I give animals to my Chao here, there's a chance that certain things will change about him. Mostly he'll get animal features, certain perks, and he'll start moving quicker. Giving animal items to Chaos? What's he doing? What are you doing, bud? He's like doing karate over here, that's great. He seems unsure of stuff. But yeah, Chao, every time you give them animals, will increase one of 5 stats. In Adventure 1, those stats are swimming, flying, running, power, and stamina. Stamina actually does nothing. There's no point to getting the stamina stat raised in this game. It does not add to anything, so don't bother with that. Meanwhile, swimming, as you might expect, allows your Chao to swim. Running allows them to actually walk around instead of crawling like he's currently doing. Power is actually a strength stat, and flying is self-explanatory. Those stats might not seem all that important because, well, we don't have an easy way to show it off right now, but they all serve some sort of a purpose. As you can see as well, every time we give an item to this guy, he gets a little bit happier. That's something that is very important because you want to keep your Chao happy. Happy Chao is a good thing, trust me. Even if he looks a bit dead inside. It's okay, bud. Seems our Chao is currently looking to be part seal and part rabbit. It's kind of alright. Different stages will also have different animals, so keep that in mind if you're going stage hunting for particular kinds of animals or particular stat raising. Make sure you're in the appropriate stage for it. There's actually 3 types of animals for every stat, if memory serves me correctly. And nice spin. And they all are relatively easy to get, especially if you're using characters like Knuckles or Gamma, who can spend their time in stages pretty thoroughly hunting for what they need. Now, the other fun thing about Chao Garden, as we've seen, is Chao races. Let's go bring our Chao in. As I've mentioned, this in the DX version of Adventure 1, as well as it reappearing in Adventure 2, is sort of different in that it's just a menu. Here, though, it's a full-blown area. So we can just casually step on this button. Chao Race. We have the option of beginner races and jewel races. In later releases, beginner race would be required to be finished first, and then you could access jewel races. But if you're crazy, you could do that whenever. Otherwise, we got 4 different courses we can do: Pearl, Amethyst, Sapphire, and Ruby. Let's try Pearl. We can do Chao entry. We can select it from either the alternate VMU or from our 3 Chao Gardens. This is our current guy. I don't expect we're going to last long at all, but this is more for demonstrating than actually winning the races. Because trust me, if we wanted to win this race, you'd have to put a lot more effort into what this is than I'm currently doing. Though it's not doing terribly so far. Chao races in Adventure 1 are a lot different than Adventure 2 because they cover all the bases. In Adventure 2, they're usually based off categories, based off your current stats, or when you get to more advanced races, cover all of them. And he fell asleep. Wake up! Now, in Adventure 1, you can also bang on drums to keep their energy up, or at least keep them moving.
Hurry.
And also worth noting that the camera will shift to focus on whoever chooses to boost the character. I'm actually trying to figure out how to switch back to them. Come on. You can actually shuffle your respective, and there we go. Hey, go back. And we lost. This was expected. As I said, if you really want to win these races, you have to devote a lot of time into raising up your Chao stats. Otherwise, you'll get run over. Beginner races are mostly your way of testing the water. Duel races are more advanced, and once you start getting your Chao stats up, a lot of interesting opponents can appear. For example, once you get to a certain point in duel races, you'll actually start encountering very specific rival Chao. Note how there's actually no one with a name for this. Kind of important. Well, actually, no, that's still beginner. What am I thinking? I think that is actually just us, because we did not name our Chao. Let's do Amethyst. I believe Pearl is supposed to be just basic running. Amethyst is flying. Sapphire is swimming, and I think Ruby is power. I'm not 100% on that, though, so I could be wrong. But while we're doing this, there's a bit more about Adventure 1's racing. For one thing, designated rivals. There's 3 in total based on your Chao's current stats. The important thing to note is that stats will always be determinant of what rival you get. Once you start getting up there in races, you'll actually start encountering a 2-tone black Chao as your first rival. Where's our Chao? I'm trying to focus on him. There he is. Come on, you can do it. Also worth noting, your position in the race determines who exactly is the one supporting your character and giving them a boost. Because characters can occasionally get boosts. Keep that in mind. We're just gonna keep banging on this drum for a bit. And he fell asleep. Oh no! Ah, damn it, we got big. Ugh.
Hurry.
No, go back. This is kind of what I don't like about Adventure 1 racing, is that you can always get your perspective stuck watching someone you don't want to watch. Which is just a bit annoying. But yes, in duel races, you will first start encountering Chakron, I believe his name is, in rival races. He is, at first, he does not seem like that big of an issue, and where the heck are you going? Okay then, that just kind of happened. Those guys are kind of stupid. But yeah, Chakron is the first rival. He doesn't seem like that big of an issue at first because he actually spends most of the race sleeping. But if he wakes up, you very much find out he's got super high stats, and he will just lunge after you toward the finish line, so you really have to be careful if you run into him. Later on, you'll actually wind up running into Silver Chao, and if your stats are high enough overall, you'll start running into Gold Chao as well. The higher the stats, the worse the rival, so be careful. Though there's no real reward for winning races other than getting emblems. In Adventure 1 on the Dreamcast, they're all tied to the emblems. So yeah, 5 races overall, 5 emblems. And it may not seem like 5 because we only saw 4 cups, but there's an unlockable Emerald Cup. Come on, you can do this. Wow, those two are actually... Oh, crap, they're pretty far ahead, actually. But yeah, you get a medal for winning, but you don't really get anything else. Adventure 2 and later versions of Adventure 1 actually gave a bit of prizes for winning this, so there was a bit more incentive to doing this, which I think was a better call. Come on. Go back. Thank you. We're actually almost on 3rd place, which is kind of nice. I'm impressed we've gotten this far. Come on. Go, Chao. Go. Go. You can do it.
Hurry up.
Ugh, Gamma, don't turn against me. Not after all the praise I had for you in the last few episodes. Holy cow, they are far. Come on, we can make top 3. You can do it. You can do it, you're a machine. You're a killing machine. Ah, damn it. Looks like we're walking away with a 4th. Yeah, you can keep mashing in order to try and force them to lunge forward. And he fell asleep. No! Yes! Nope, we did not finish in time. God damn it. Oh my god. That was stupid. Funnily enough, I have still not given this Chao a name, so we probably should do that. At least before things get a bit too out of hand. But yeah, overall, races in Adventure 1, they're kind of just a neat distraction. They don't really offer much in terms of replay value. And while they are interesting, you don't get much else. So I personally would not recommend doing races in Adventure 1. At least this version. Dreamcast version is not great for that. But GameCube version's a bit better because they're just better ways to view Chao stats and stuff so you can actually see what you're focusing on. Otherwise, I'd have to shove my VMU into this thing to check things out. Which is a bit more annoying. Come on, pick him up. Thank you, you're coming with me. The VMU over here is where things get a bit interesting. Come on. Why is it not opening? Oh, right. I remember the gimmick with this. There's a bit of a problem with the VMU stuff. Put a Chao in this machine, you can take your Chao for a walk. Pick up your Chao and jump on the red button. See, I did that, but you actually have to have batteries built into your VMU as well. But you can also see a bit of an issue. I am not exactly willing to send a Chao to my Chao transporter because it's just a lot of work and like a lot of effort to go into this. So we're not really going to focus on that. Instead, what we're going to do, once I land on this, come on. We're going to put you down. And we're going to take a visit to another Chao garden to discuss some different features. Next stop, Mystic Ruins. It just now occurred to me that Silver Chao here is rather sad. I don't like when they wind up with a sad face, it's just unfortunate. On another note, Chao have a lot of interesting properties to them and things that are a bit different compared to other versions of the game. Fruit and the food they eat is another part of this. Nuts, which are their current form of food, are the only thing you can normally encounter for them to feed in this game. But they're not the only thing they can eat. In other games, they'll actually have other options for other things you can buy in the shops, more specifically in the black market. The Dreamcast version of Sonic Adventure only had the black market through the online service. But since the Dreamcast Online has been dead for well over 20 years, can't really do that. At least not without some clever manipulation through private servers. You can bring it back through some... I got a Chao over here too? I didn't even remember waking you up. Oh no, yes I do. What am I saying? I remember you. And he's even singing too. Makes it better. But ultimately, yes. Black Market was not really a feature in Adventure 1 outside of internet connectivity. Meaning, if you don't have internet, good luck. This is probably not going to be the game for you. Adventure DX and Adventure 2 actually make this a lot better by building the Black Market into the Chao Gardens themselves so you can actually go access them. Alternatively, as I was saying, fruit is one of the only things that you can feed your Chao with in this game. But it's not the only option. If you play Chao Adventure, there's actually a lot of options you can go from and select from that game. In Chao Adventure, you can acquire plums, lemons, grapes, cherries, life nuts, which I'll explain in a minute, haste nuts, and star nuts. Life nuts are a bit of a different story because everything else raises particular stats a certain way. Life nuts, though, are rather unique. They restore HP while you're out in Chao Adventure because it's kind of an RPG adventure when you're using it, but they also make your Chao fertile. Chao can mate if flowers appear around them, which only happens when you use a life nut around them. This will later change to be called a heart fruit, I believe, in Adventure 2. It is the only normal way to get a Chao to start mating, and you might be surprised as not every Chao will date every other Chao. Can't really tell which gender a Chao is, but they'll find a way if they decide they like their partners. Parents' traits in mating season will actually pass on to the Chao, so if you got, say, a silver Chao here alongside a color Chao, there's a chance that both colors will pass on, giving you what's known as a jewel Chao. Jewel Chao are kind of rare, but they actually are pretty cool looking, all things considered. And if you also had the Dreamcast at certain events, you could actually download special Chao as well. These Chao were Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire, Pearl, and the special Knight's Chao, which is not a jewel Chao, but it is a pretty cool looking Chao. I mean, look at that thing. Chao themselves are actually rather interesting creatures because there is a known life cycle for this game. What's up, bud? You wanna up? Goodness. Chao behave super differently depending on the game you're playing. In Adventure 2, a lot of the more childish traits are actually toned down a lot, but they can relearn those things through going to Chao Kindergarten. Something that's not really a trait here. Sweet jump! Man, some of these guys are eager. But more importantly than that, what is important to know is a Chao's life cycle. Chaos go through stages of life just like us, but theirs are very specific and tied to the Dreamcast use in-game clock. Chao, every 4 hours, will go through evolution. In Adventure 1's case, when a Chao is born, 4 hours later, it will evolve into one new Chao based on what is its current best stats. You can influence this depending on what stuff you give them, and their appearance will drastically change to correspond to it. However, the important part is what comes afterward. After a Chao is an adult is where things get a bit interesting because depending on how you treat the Chao, changes how things work. If Chao are treated well, they will reincarnate and go back into an egg, resetting all their stats to 0, but keeping their appearance the same. Man, this guy is really needy. The important thing about this is that if you mistreat your Chao, you'll actually end up killing them, as next time they go into their cocoon, they will disappear and not have an egg of any kind. Very, dark, to be honest. But so long as you're not an abusive monster, you should be fine. Important thing to note, though, is that cocoons in Adventure 1 are all white. These are the things that determine what their Chao becomes based on evolution, but they're all the same color, so you can't really tell from that color alone what is going to happen. Later re-releases would make it so that if they reincarnated, it would be a pink cocoon, and going from baby to adult would be a blue cocoon, while as death would still be a white cocoon. There's a number of glitches also associated with the Chao Garden that you should be careful about. For one thing, Chaos can get stuck in certain spots, namely having the ability to swim under the water and down here, where they'll fall out of reach. If this happens, you can just merely exit the area and come back, and they'll teleport to a different spot, because Chaos always wind up in a different location every time you come to visit them. There's also a known trick with the Mystic Ruins Chao Garden, one that is a bit different. You have the ability to grab your Chao and jump off this cliff, which will kill you. You can't do this in later versions of the game, and there's actually something kind of similar you can do in Adventure 2, but this, maybe don't attempt this with your Chao. I don't recommend it as a good idea. There is actually no trick to killing yourself or causing problems that I'm aware of in Station Square, so that one is thankfully glitch-free if you just want to have a safe place to raise your Chaos. Oh wow, he's training in water? I mean, I guess we're in the waiting section so we can actually walk, but that's kind of fun. Chao also are not as stupid as you might think they are. They will retain whether or not you hurt them as certain characters, and they will be scared of you if you keep doing that, so maybe don't mess with them. Alternatively, Chao's appearances will also continue to change the more that they evolve. Reincarnation does not change their appearance, and the more their stats change, the more inclined they are to change form. This is actually pretty interesting because Chaos can turn into a lot of different things. If they're a pure flying Chao, they can actually wind up looking quite close to Knights, which makes sense because this game was sort of a holdover of an idea of having an extension of the Knights areas from the Sega Saturn title. Those of you who are big fans of the other side mode that's often found in Sonic Adventure 2, Chao Karate, I've got some bad news for you. Chao Karate did not exist in Sonic 1 on the Dreamcast. So unfortunately, that's not really an option for you with this game. Good morning, Chao. But yeah, Chao Karate, oddly enough, was never in the original Dreamcast title. A bit of a shame because it's one of my favorite modes, but yeah, that never, ever came back. Or at least never appeared in this version. In fact, it actually only appears in the GameCube ports, so it's not in Adventure 2 original either. Bit of a shame because I think it's a really fun mode and uses the stamina meter as long as the other stuff very well, but unfortunately, just not meant to be here. Oh god, Demon Smile. Why does this always happen to me? I always get stuck with the Demon Smile. Chaos will actually have certain facial features. In Adventure 2, you can influence what they are, but I swear in Adventure 1, they're random. They're usually open smiles, regular smiles, frowns, or kind of scared faces. That last one's a bit hard to define, but trust me, it makes sense. I'll show a picture. Now, as I said, there is noticeable differences between the Dreamcast and GameCube re-releases of Adventure 1, including in the Chao Garden, but they're mostly quality of life updates rather than major overhauls to this game's systems. You'll be able to see your Chao stats clearly. It's actually a lot easier to get items in certain ways because you have access to a black market, so you can actually get the things you want. But otherwise, the system is relatively the same, and Chao Karate is still not present. A bit unfortunate, but what can you do? And unfortunately, that's about it for the Chao Garden in Adventure 1. as much as I love this feature, it wasn't until Adventure 2, specifically Adventure 2 Battle, that it turned into the form that I personally know today and really love. So unfortunately, I think that's going to do it for us here. Which means, next time on Let's Play Sonic Adventure, it's going to be time to end things. Let's quit out, because there's something you need to see. As I mentioned, once you finish all 6 main campaigns,
Select a character.
you unlock 1 extra story mode. Everyone's done, but we still got this. Next time on Let's Play Sonic Adventure, we're ending things with the Supersonic story. Till next time, ice out.